Evelyn was a 78-year-old retired librarian living in Dayton, Ohio. She was fiercely independent, completely healthy, and spent most of her spring mornings tending to her own backyard garden. She didn't have a single symptom of illness. No pain, no fatigue, no unexpected weight loss. But after seeing an advertisement for an executive health clinic, her daughter convinced her to go in for a comprehensive, full-body MRI. They simply wanted what the brochure promised, peace of mind. Instead, that single decision stole her independence forever. The scan detected a tiny, ambiguous shadow on her left kidney. Her primary care doctor, legally and ethically bound to investigate, ordered a biopsy to rule out cancer. The procedure itself seemed routine, but Evelyn's older tissue didn't heal quite like it used to. The biopsy caused a severe internal bleed, which led to an emergency hospitalization, which then exposed her to a hospital-acquired infection. Within 3 weeks, Evelyn went from planting hydrangeas in her own backyard to sitting in a wheelchair in an assisted living facility, permanently weakened and terrified. And the shadow on her kidney? It was a completely harmless, benign cyst. It never would have hurt her. It was the test that ruined her life. I am Dr. Marcus Vance, and in my years of medical practice, I have watched this exact tragedy play out more times than I can count. We are raised to believe that the ultimate golden rule of health is to catch it early. We are taught that more information is always better, and that screening tests are the ultimate shield against disease. And when you are 50 years old, that is often true. But medicine is not one size fits all, and what saves your life at 50 can absolutely ruin your life at 80. After a certain age, looking for trouble in a healthy body triggers what I call the medical domino effect. By the end of this video, you are going to know exactly which common medical tests you and your aging parents can safely decline to protect your physical safety, your emotional peace, and your independent lifestyle. Before we go any further into these specific tests, I want to hear from you. How old are you right now? And have you ever felt pressured by a doctor, a clinic, or a family member into taking a medical test you weren't entirely sure you actually needed? Tell me your experience in the comments below, because I promise you, if you have felt that pressure, you are definitely not alone. To understand why this happens, we need to draw a hard, bold line between two different types of medicine. There is diagnostic testing and there is screening. If you have a new symptom, if you have sudden pain, unexplained bleeding, or a lump that wasn't there last month, we run diagnostic tests. We need to find out what is causing that symptom. You should never ignore a genuine warning sign. But screening is entirely different. Screening means you feel completely fine, you have zero symptoms, and we go looking inside your body to see if we can find hidden trouble. The danger lies in a biological reality that very few people talk about: internal wear and tear. Just as your skin develops age spots, wrinkles, and physical badges of a long life, your internal organs develop their own harmless marks. Your kidneys develop benign cysts. Your lungs pick up tiny, harmless nodules from old colds. Your liver might have a benign spot of fat. If you put a healthy 75-year-old through a highly sensitive, full-body MRI, the machine is almost guaranteed to find something. In the medical community, we actually have a name for these discoveries. We call them incidentalomas, things we find by accident that would have never caused you a single day of pain. This brings us to the first massive trap you need to avoid: the elective, full-body scan. These scans are marketed aggressively to seniors as the ultimate proactive health measure, but they are entirely too good at their jobs. When a machine finds one of those internal freckles, it forces everyone's hand. The radiologist has to note it in your chart. Your doctor reads the chart and realizes that if they ignore it and it turns out to be the 1 in a million aggressive cancer, they could be sued for malpractice. So they refer you to a specialist. The specialist, to be perfectly safe, orders a biopsy. Suddenly, you are in a hospital gown. You are being put under twilight anesthesia. A needle is being guided into your organ. You are exposed to the stress of a procedure, the anxiety of waiting for cancer results, and the very real physical risks of bleeding, perforation, and severe infection. The medical domino effect is fully in motion, all to investigate a harmless mark of aging. This is exactly why major medical organizations, including the Choosing Wisely Initiative and the U.S. Preventive Services Task Force, consistently warn against routine, broad-spectrum imaging for asymptomatic adults. The data is clear and sobering. In the elderly population, these wide-net scans cause far more physical and psychological harm than they actually prevent. They do not extend life, They simply convert healthy, independent seniors into anxious patients, trapped in a cycle of endless follow-up appointments. Your goal as you age is not to have a flawless, pristine set of internal organs on a computer screen. Your goal is functional living. It is the ability to walk to the mailbox, play with your grandchildren, and live in your own home. Protecting that independence often means knowing when to stop looking for harmless shadows. This exact same domino effect happens when we look at our cognitive health, specifically when it comes to ordering brain MRIs for slower processing or mild memory lapses. It is incredibly common for someone in their late 70s to occasionally forget where they placed their keys or to struggle for a moment to recall an actor's name. In a younger person, we call this being distracted. In an older adult, it terrifies the family. They immediately assume the worst and push for a brain MRI to rule out Alzheimer's or dementia. The intention is born of love, but the result is often deeply problematic. Let me tell you about Arthur, a patient of mine from Seattle. Arthur was 77, lived independently, and managed his own finances. His daughter noticed he was repeating stories and seemed a bit foggy, so she requested a brain scan. When the MRI report came back, it used frightening medical terminology. It noted cerebral atrophy and white matter lesions. To his family, this sounded like a death sentence. They started treating Arthur like a dementia patient. They took away his checkbook. They stopped letting him drive. Arthur became deeply depressed, withdrew from his social groups, and his cognitive function actually plummeted because he lost his confidence and independence. But here is what the radiology report did not emphasize. Cerebral atrophy just means the brain has slightly shrunk, which happens to absolutely everyone as they age. White matter lesions are essentially tiny scars from years of having slightly elevated blood pressure. They are incredibly common and usually harmless. Arthur's scan simply showed what a normal 77-year-old brain looks like. We eventually ran a few simple blood tests and discovered Arthur had a severe vitamin B12 deficiency. We replaced the vitamin, and within 2 months, his fog lifted. He got his checkbook back, but the emotional trauma of that false alarm haunted his family for years. If you or your parent are experiencing mild memory issues, ask your doctor this exact question. Can we start with an in-office cognitive test and check for vitamin deficiencies or sleep apnea before we jump to an MRI? Simple 10-minute tests performed in the clinic measure how your brain is actually functioning, rather than taking a picture of normal internal wear and tear. There is no medication that reverses age-related brain changes shown on a scan, so finding them does not help you. It only worries you. Now, let's move to a test that is deeply ingrained in our preventative health culture, the colonoscopy. I need to be extraordinarily clear here. A colonoscopy is a brilliant, life-saving screening tool. I strongly recommend it for my patients starting at age 45. It prevents cancer by finding and removing precancerous polyps, but the benefits of this test operate on a long timeline. It prevents a cancer that might develop 5 to 10 years in the future. If you are 80 years old and your previous screenings have been clear, the mathematical balance of risk and reward flips completely upside down. The danger of a late-in-life colonoscopy is rarely the scope itself. The danger is the preparation. To clean out the colon, a patient must drink roughly a gallon of aggressive, harsh laxative fluid the day before the procedure. For a healthy 50-year-old, this is just an unpleasant evening in the bathroom. For a frail 79-year-old, it is a physical trauma. The extreme diarrhea causes massive, rapid shifts in fluids and electrolytes. I recently treated a 79-year-old retired teacher. She was pressured by a well-meaning new clinic doctor to get her routine 10-year colonoscopy. During the bowel preparation at home, she became so profoundly dehydrated that her blood pressure plummeted. She fainted on her way to the bathroom, fell, and fractured her hip. When she arrived at the emergency room, the severe dehydration had triggered an acute kidney injury. She nearly died, not from colon cancer, but from the preparation for a test she did not even need. Furthermore, the sedation used during the procedure carries a much higher risk of causing breathing problems, sudden blood pressure drops, and days of severe confusion in older adults. The wall of the colon also thins as we age, significantly increasing the risk that the scope could cause a perforation, a tear in the intestine that requires emergency, life-altering surgery. This is exactly why the U.S. Preventive Services Task Force changed its guidelines. They now state that between the ages of 76 and 85, colonoscopy screening should be strictly individualized, not automatic. And after age 85, routine screening is outright recommended against. Instead of routine screening, we shift to surveillance. You watch for actual symptoms, unexplained weight loss, persistent abdominal pain, or visible blood. If you have those, we investigate. But if you are symptom-free, a high-fiber diet, daily walking, and eating foods that feed your gut microbiome are infinitely safer and more effective for your longevity than subjecting your frail body to a violent chemical flush. This brings us to one of the most heavily debated, yet widely misunderstood topics in men's health: routine PSA screening for prostate cancer after age 70. For decades, the prostate-specific antigen blood test was treated as a mandatory, automatic box to check on every older man's annual lab sheet. But prostate cancer is completely different from many other types of cancer. In the vast majority of older men, it grows extraordinarily slowly. In fact, medical autopsy studies have consistently shown that a massive percentage of men in their 80s actually have prostate cancer, but they died of completely unrelated causes. They died with the cancer, not from it. It was just sitting there, quietly, never causing a single day of pain or problems. The issue is that the standard PSA test cannot effectively tell the difference between a highly aggressive cancer that needs immediate attention and a slow-growing cancer that will never harm you. When a 75-year-old man gets a slightly elevated PSA result, the medical domino effect kicks in immediately. A biopsy is ordered. The biopsy confirms a low-grade, slow-growing cancer. But once you hear the word cancer, panic takes over. You want it out. Your family wants it out. This fear drives men into aggressive treatments, radiation or surgical removal of the prostate. Those treatments carry brutal, life-altering side effects. A massive number of men who undergo these procedures suffer from permanent urinary incontinence and erectile dysfunction. Their quality of life plummets. They stop traveling. They stop being active. They end up wearing adult diapers for the rest of their lives, all to treat a cancer that was statistically highly unlikely to ever threaten their lifespan. This is the exact reason the U.S. Preventive Services Task Force recommends against routine PSA screening for men 70 and older. The data proves that the severe harms of overdiagnosis and overtreatment vastly outweigh the potential benefits. If you have a strong family history or specific symptoms, it warrants a deeply nuanced, individualized conversation with your doctor. But as a routine, automatic screening for a healthy 75-year-old, the science says no. If a low-grade prostate cancer is found, active surveillance, simply monitoring it without aggressive intervention, is almost always the safest and smartest choice for older men. So, if we are pulling back from full-body scans, brain MRIs for mild forgetfulness, extreme colonoscopy preps, and routine PSA tests, you might be wondering, what exactly should your doctor be doing? Are we just giving up on health after 70? Absolutely not. We are simply shifting our focus from taking pictures of your internal wear and tear to measuring your actual functional capacity. The gold standard for senior care is the Comprehensive Geriatric Assessment. When I evaluate an older patient, I am far less interested in a shadow on an MRI than I am in their grip strength. Grip strength and walking speed are two of the most powerful, scientifically validated predictors of longevity, brain health, and fall risk. If your grip is strong and your balance is steady, you are highly likely to maintain your independence. During this assessment, we also perform a rigorous medication audit. Many seniors are taking 8, 10, or 12 different prescription pills. Often, the dizziness, fatigue, or memory fog they are experiencing isn't a new disease. It is a dangerous interaction between a blood pressure pill and a sleep aid. Stripping away unnecessary medications often gives people their lives back far faster than any scan ever could. We assess your sleep quality, your nutrition, and your social connection because chronic loneliness and poor sleep are mathematically far more dangerous to your heart and brain than most of the things a full-body scan is looking for. I want to leave you with a specific, powerful tool. The next time a doctor, a clinic, or a well-meaning family member suggests a screening test, I want you to look your physician in the eye and ask this exact question. What will we do differently based on this result? If the answer is, we'll do a highly invasive surgery, you need to ask if your frail body can handle that surgery. If the answer is, nothing, we'll just keep a closer eye on it, then you likely do not need the test right now. You are simply buying anxiety. Medical care should be a partnership, not a dictatorship. You have lived a long, full life. You know your body, you know your values, and you know what matters most to you. The goal of healthcare after 70 is not to hunt down every single imperfection hiding in your cells. The goal is to keep you strong, capable, and living with dignity, joy, and independence in your own home for as long as humanly possible. Sometimes, the smartest, most scientifically backed medical decision you can make is simply to say no to a test you do not need. I want to hear from you right now. Let's make this concrete. Comment. Starting today. If you are going to use that exact question with your doctor at your next appointment. Comment. Asking my doctor if you plan to request a functional assessment instead of routine imaging. Comment. Sending this. If you know a friend, a spouse, or an aging parent who desperately needs to hear this message before their next checkup, if this information gave you peace of mind and a sense of control, please share it. Save this video so you can refer back to it before your next clinic visit, and make sure you subscribe to the channel. We are building a community focused on smart, evidence-based aging, where we prioritize your actual quality of life over unnecessary procedures. Stay active, stay informed, and I will see you in the next video.